Stop everything and listen to me. Sit down. Put the device on the table. Place your feet flat on the ground. Breathe in slowly and breathe out even slower. I am speaking to you now to protect what I am bringing to you next. The opportunity approaching you looks like favor, and in many ways it is, but there is paperwork attached to this blessing. Hear me. This door carries a document, contract, approval letter, offer sheet, lease, onboarding packet, court paper, title transfer, NDA, policy update, covenant language. It will arrive dressed like relief. It will feel like the answer you have been waiting for. And still, your future will not be decided by the feeling. It will be decided by what you do with the fine print. This is not motivation. This is not hype. This is not fear. This is recognition and protection. I saw every place where you were overlooked and underpaid. I watched the nights you stayed up counting costs and counting tears. I listened to the prayers that had no words left. Now hear me clearly. I am not withholding blessing from you. I am teaching you to hold it correctly. The blessing is real, and so is the clause that can turn it into a cage if you rush, if you assume, if you sign what you did not read. You are standing in front of a door that will either lift you or lock you, and the hinge is discernment. Is this door a blessing or is it bait? Is this document the answer to prayer or a test of patience and stewardship? What I say about you defines who you are. You are not desperate, you are discerning. You are not hunted by pressure, you are guided by peace. You are not a victim of paperwork, you are a steward of promise. I say you are chosen, I say you are mine. So here is how we will move. Over this long walk, line by line, I will show you how God-approved favor stands up to bright light, and how counterfeit favor hides behind shadows and speed. We will separate holy terms from harmful traps. We will confront the tactics that demand panic and uncover the costs that pretend to be invisible. We will also confirm the green lights, where peace deepens under scrutiny, where alignment requires no betrayal of your voice, where covenant strengthens your boundaries instead of stealing them. But first, anchor this within yourself. Press the light button right now as your declaration of discernment, not as a routine gesture, as covenant. Let heaven record it. I will read every line. Say it out loud with me. I will read every line. Because the door in front of you may be true favor, but your future depends on what you do with what is attached to it. Slow your pulse. Steady your hands. You are allowed to pause. You are required to perceive. I will walk with you through every page, and you will not be trapped. You will be trusted. You did not stumble into this message. You were summoned to it. I called you to this exact moment because desire alone cannot carry you through the door that is opening. Discernment will. Hear me. I have watched you in the private places where no one applauded and no one understood. I saw you pray, open a door, and then when it appeared, I saw the tremor in your chest, the calculation in your eyes, the fear of what it would cost to step through it. I watched you weigh silence versus peace, applause versus integrity, survival versus stewardship. I saw it all, and I am not shaming you, I am appointing you. You have a history with offers that wore the costume of rescue and turned into cages once you were inside. Promises rushed you, people pressed you, guilt was used like a pen, forcing your signature in rooms that never honored your name. And when the weight became unbearable, the same voices that hurried you blamed you for carrying it. Now hear me clearly. Nothing was random. Nothing was punishment. Every clause you missed, every penalty you paid, every night you stayed up rereading what you wished you had read before you signed. Those moments trained your eyes. They were sandpaper on your sight, sharpening your discernment until you could see in the dark. This is the identity upgrade. You are not desperate anymore. You are ready. Worthiness was never the question. Readiness is. Readiness looks like this. You can say no even when it shines. You can wait even when others sprint. You can ask for time, for copies, for counsel, for clarity, and feel no guilt. You no longer worship open doors. You test them. You do not chase approval. You confirm alignment. You are not hunted by pressure. You are guided by peace. What I say about you defines who you are, and I say you are steady, you are wise, you are mine. You are entering contract season. Hear the phrase and let it anchor you. At every new level, terms arrive first. Spiritual terms, relational terms, financial terms, professional terms. Blessing comes with boundaries. Access comes with accountability. The enemy loves paperwork because most people do not read it. He hides control in consent you did not understand, slips fear into urgency, and buries bondage in the footnotes. Not you, not anymore. You will slow the tempo. You will read the headline and the hush line. You will resist speed and refuse secrecy. You will not be bullied by timelines that ignore your peace. You are authorized to pause, to verify, to pray, and then to move with authority. Let heaven record this agreement right now. Type in the comments, I read every line, not as routine, as covenant. As you write it over your future, over your finances, over your relationships, over your voice. Discernment, not desire, will decide whether this season lifts you or locks you. I am standing with you, strengthening your sight, anchoring your steps. You will not sign for a cage. You will steward a door, and you will know, with a quiet certainty that cannot be hurried, when to enter, when to amend, and when to walk away. Listen to me. In the last season, you walked through 9 precision-built trials. They were not sent to break you. They were sent to calibrate you. Nothing was random. Nothing was punishment. I engineered your sight, trained your pace, and strengthened your boundaries so that when the document arrives, you will not sign from fear. You will decide from clarity. The first trial was rejection. Doors closed that you were certain should have opened. Meetings canceled. Messages unanswered. Invitations rescinded. It felt like dismissal, but hear me. I was pulling you away from rooms that would have mistaken your access for your assignment. You learned that no can be a shield. You learned you are not validated by open doors. You are guided by right doors. The second trial was delay. The timeline stretched until your patience felt like a rope burning in your hands. But the stretching realigned your breath. You learned to stop confusing speed with favor. Impatience makes people sign anything. You chose to wait for peace. That wait recalibrated you. The third trial was betrayal. Someone smiled and switched. Words that once felt warm turned into knives. But you learned to verify, not just trust. You learned that consistency is louder than charisma, that long-term fruit exposes short-term flattery. Now you cross-check stories and watch patterns before you promise. The fourth trial was financial pressure. Bills stacked, margins thinned, and urgency knocked like a debt collector in your chest. I did not abandon you there. I trained you there. You learned that urgency can be manufactured. You practiced the sacred pause. Breathe before you buy, breathe before you sign, breathe before you commit. Money stopped bullying your decisions. The fifth trial was isolation. Friends scattered, noise dropped. You feared you were forgotten. I was not withholding love. I was clearing the frequency. In the quiet, you learned my tone. Solitude detoxed you from sugar-coated manipulation so that future flattery would no longer hook your need to belong. The sixth trial was confusion. Mixed signals everywhere, fog on every path. You learned to demand clarity, not as defiance, but as stewardship. You started asking better questions. What exactly is required? By when? With what consequence? You stopped apologizing for needing definitions. The seventh trial was an integrity test. A shortcut winked. A loophole promised ease. You felt the pull and you said no. Now you know. Loopholes cost more later. You would rather rebuild slow with clean hands than sprint fast with chains hidden in the speed. The eighth trial was over-responsibility. You carried what was never yours. Other people's chaos, other people's deadlines, other people's outcomes. It drained you until you drew a line. You learned that boundaries are not meanness. They are legal protection for your future. You began to return weights to their rightful owners. The ninth trial was surrender. You released control, not because you gave up, but because you grew up. And when you let me lead, peace did not wait for proof. It arrived as proof. Now hear me clearly. All 9 were calibration, not punishment, precision. They have armed your discernment for this exact hour. So when the document lands in your hands, you will not kneel to pressure. You will listen for peace, read every line, ask every question, and move with authority. Let heaven record it. You are ready. Now, hear me clearly. The document is a threshold. Do not be confused by the lack of music around it. Many of my breakthroughs travel through systems, banks, employers, courts, landlords, partnerships, platforms, agencies. Doors often open as terms, not as tingles. I am not less present because a printer was involved. I am not less miraculous because an email delivered it. When I bring enlargement, I also bring order to hold it, and order often arrives on paper. Some expect miracles to feel like a choir, but mature blessings often feel like paperwork, verification, and responsibility. They sound like underwriting questions, identity checks, compliance steps, onboarding portals. This is not the absence of favor. This is the infrastructure of it. Infancy only needs warmth. Maturity needs structure. When you prayed for more, you also prayed for maintenance. When you asked for doors, you asked for keys and locks. When you asked for visibility, you asked for agreements that protect your name, your time, your voice. So hear the wisdom in what I commanded. Read every line. That is not a slogan. It is a prophetic instruction. What is hidden is not always evil, but what is hidden is always significant. Hidden definitions shift entire meanings. Hidden timelines create invisible pressure. Hidden renewal clauses bind the future you did not plan to give away. Hidden rights over your likeness, your data, your ideas can siphon what I gave you to steward. Hold the paper up to the light. Read the hush lines as if they preach. Ask what each word demands of your peace, your boundaries, your tomorrow. I will teach you to separate clauses into 2 categories: green light clauses that reveal my order, and red flag clauses that reveal counterfeit control. Green light clauses clarify scope, protect rest, honor boundaries, set mutual accountability, offer fair exits, and preserve your voice and ownership. They feel like clarity, not conquest. Red flag clauses blur deliverables, grant unilateral power, impose disproportionate penalties, gag your testimony, harvest your data, or demand perpetual access to your time, body, or brand. They feel like pressure wearing perfume. This is the audit we will walk together. Pace, pressure, people, penalties, privacy, and peace. Pace. Does it force you to sprint past your spirit? Pressure. Does it require panic to secure it? People. Who gains control of your access and your future? Penalties. Where are the traps if life delays you? Privacy. What do they own of you that they did not pay for? Peace. Does truth grow clearer the longer you look? Let heaven record it. When I open a door through a document, I am testing your stewardship of what that door requires. You will not be afraid of paper. You will be faithful with it. You will not bow to signatures. You will govern them. Pause. Read. Ask. Confirm. And when peace remains under the brightest light, You will sign without trembling and step through the threshold I prepared, carrying favor that is clean and freedom that is intact. Now hear me clearly. The first red flag is manufactured urgency. Counterfeit favor rushes you. It corners you with clocks. It hisses, sign today or lose it. It threatens loss to hijack your judgment, to make you trade discernment for speed, to turn your yes into a leash. Listen to the phrases that wear this mask. This offer expires tonight. Don't tell anyone, just trust me. We don't have time for questions. Everyone else already agreed. Legal review will only slow us down. If you walk out, we can't hold your spot. These are not the sounds of favor. These are the sirens of pressure. They demand panic to secure what they never intended to steward well. I am not a god of panic. I do not need frenzy to fulfill a promise. What is from me can stand in daylight, can sit overnight, can wait for obedience without losing power. My doors do not need you out of breath to prove they are open. Hear me. Peace sets the tempo of heaven. If it wilts when you slow down, it was never a living thing I sent. If it requires secrecy to survive, it is already rotting. If it cannot bear questions, it is allergic to truth. So here is how you answer the hurry without fear. Request time to review, out loud, in writing, without apology. Ask for a copy of every document, digital and printable. Insist on written terms. Verbal promises evaporate when pressure cools. Take the conversation out of the rush. Email me the full agreement and I will respond after review. Consult wise counsel, someone with no stake in the applause, someone who loves your future more than anyone's timeline. Pray, then sleep before committing. If sunrise steals your peace, your spirit just told you the truth. And hear this boundary that will guard your life. If your no cannot be honored, your yes should not be offered. If they refuse your pause, they do not deserve your signature. You are not a beggar of opportunities. You are a steward of assignments. Scarcity is not your shepherd. Urgency is not your lord. What I say about you defines who you are. You are chosen, not cornered, appointed, not pressured, guided by peace, not chased by clocks. You do not scramble for what I have assigned. You step into it when peace confirms and clarity remains under bright light. Let heaven record it. You will not hand your future to a countdown timer. Type no rush as your declaration right now, not as defiance, as alignment. No rush over your inbox, your negotiations, your relationships, your contracts. This is your new timeline, clarity, counsel, confirmation. And let this sentence guard the threshold of your decisions. If it demands panic to secure it, it is not divine favor, it is pressure in a costume. You will slow the room. You will read every line. You will keep your voice, your boundaries, your peace. And when the opportunity is truly yours, it will still be yours after you breathe, after you pray, after you sleep, after you shine the brightest light on every word. Now, hear me clearly. The second red flag is the hidden cost clause. The headline glitters, the footnotes extract. Offers shout bonus, promotion, approved, while the hush line whispers fees, penalties, auto renewals, performance traps, and surprise responsibilities that were never priced into your peace. The true price is rarely in the headline. It is in the clause you almost skipped. I am your father and your advocate, and I am pulling the veil. Some doors are engineered to drain you while calling it opportunity. They siphon money through silent interest and administrative adjustments. They siphon time through unbounded deliverables. They siphon energy through duties added without support. Then label your exhaustion as not a team player. That is not favor, that is a funnel. Blessings add capacity, traps add debt, financial debt, emotional debt, spiritual debt. Favor funds your future. Counterfeit favor finances your bondage. Pay attention to these patterns. payback clauses that demand you return a signing bonus if you leave before an arbitrary date, even if the environment becomes toxic, clawbacks that reclaim commissions or grants for reasons defined only by them after you delivered, non-competes that forbid you from working in your own gift within a wide radius for a long season, blocking growth while paying nothing for your forfeited freedom, silent interest rates that spike after a teaser month, variable APRs buried under friendly fonts, auto renewals that bind you for another year unless you cancel on an invisible deadline, penalties that compound, late fees on top of late fees, maintenance on top of processing, expedite for delays they caused, and the slipperiest line of all, and other duties as assigned, a blank check they will try to cash with your health. So you will practice discernment with precise questions. Ask, what happens if I need to exit? What is the total cost of leaving? Money, time, reputation, and how much notice releases me clean? What happens if life changes, illness, relocation, caregiving? Is there a humane clause or only punishment? What happens if they fail to uphold their part? Missed payments, missed support, missed deliverables. Is there a cure period, a refund, a pro-rate, a fair mediation path? Who owns my work, my name, my likeness, my data? Where do interest and fees begin, and what caps them? Where is the renewal date, and how do I opt out in writing? Do not tremble to ask. This is stewardship, not stubbornness. Request edits. Strike the auto-renew, cap penalties, narrow any non-compete to a short window and a specific scope, or remove it. Add mutual accountability. If duties increase, support and compensation increase. Require change orders in writing. Demand clarity on interest and repayment schedules. If they call this difficult, translate it correctly. You just closed their leak. What I say about you defines who you are. You are diligent, not difficult, wise, not wary, faithful over what I place in your hands. Let heaven record it. You will not mortgage tomorrow to rent applause today. You will not sign away freedom for a headline. You will count the cost, and you will keep your peace. Type cost counted as your declaration. And now prepare, because the next examination is the people clause. Control often hides in personalities more than paragraphs, and we will expose it before it touches your future. Now, hear me clearly. The third red flag is control in the fine print. Counterfeit favor does not just want your signature, it wants access to you, your voice, your name, your story, your future. It uses confidentiality not to protect trade secrets, but to isolate you. It buries consent language that grants unlimited, irrevocable, royalty-free rights to your ideas, your likeness, your content, your calendar, your data. It hides clauses that gag you from telling the truth about abuse or breach. It stretches non-disparagement to mean never testify, never warn, never speak. It demands that you agree to monitoring and location tracking for safety, and slips in perpetual rights to edit your narrative after you walk away. Hear me. If the blessing requires surrendering your voice and your boundaries, it is not a door, it is a leash. This control also shows up in relational contracts, spoken and unspoken. You can't talk to your family. Don't get advice. If you love me, you'll agree. If you're loyal, you'll sign. These are not vows of intimacy. They are threats in romance clothing. Love does not isolate you from wise counsel. Loyalty does not silence truth. Favor does not fear a second opinion. Any offer, person, platform, or partnership that says your access to community must shrink for their comfort is not covering you. It is caging you. Discern this in your spirit. I convict. The counterfeit manipulates. Conviction clarifies. It shines a light on the next right step, names the issue cleanly, and leaves you with both truth and peace. Manipulation confuses. It fogs your mind, scrambles your urgency, and makes you doubt your own memory. Conviction invites counsel. Manipulation forbids it. Conviction honors your no. Manipulation punishes it. You asked me to guide you. I am guiding you now. Follow the clarity. Resist the fog. What I say about you defines who you are. You are chosen, and chosen people must protect voice, time, health, and worship. Your voice is a stewardship, not a toy for other people's branding. Your time is not an all-access pass. Your health is not collateral for someone else's timeline. Your worship is not to be scheduled around by contracts that erase rest. Access to you is earned, not demanded, reviewed, not assumed, seasonal, not perpetual. Set office hours, set no contact windows, set Sabbath space, set escalation paths that honor your peace. If they call it arrogance, translate it correctly. Boundaries disrupt control. Now perform the audit I am teaching you. Who benefits most from your silence? Who benefits most from your exhaustion? Who benefits most when you do not read? Who keeps power if you never tell what happened? Who profits if you cannot reuse your own work? Who wins if you are too tired to dream? Write their names in your mind and let the light expose the scheme. Then act. Narrow confidentiality to legitimate subjects and reasonable time frames. Strike gag orders that criminalize truth. Keep ownership of your name, image, and original work unless fairly licensed with clear limits. Remove consent to indefinite monitoring. Require mutuality. If they can terminate, you can speak. Let heaven record it. Your future will not be leased to silence. Type voice kept as your declaration. Say it out loud. My boundaries are blessed. My counsel is protected. My truth is safe to speak. And now, as you guard against red flags, I will show you the green lights. What clean favor looks like under bright scrutiny. How peace holds when you read. And how alignment requires no compromise to enter. Now, hear me clearly. The first green light is peace that holds under scrutiny. When the opportunity is mine, the more you examine it, the more stable it becomes. Shine a brighter light, and it does not shrink. Take a slower breath, and it does not evaporate. Read every line, and anxiety does not multiply. Clarity does. This is the sign. Truth grows when tested. Pressure fades when paced. Alignment strengthens when questions are asked. God's favor can be examined in bright light, and it still stays true. Learn the peace test. Peace is not the absence of butterflies. It is the absence of alarms. Your body may feel the weight of a big decision. Your hands may tremble at the size of the door. But deep inside, there is no siren screaming danger when truth is present. Peace does not forbid questions. It invites them. Peace does not punish your pause. It partners with it. When you sit with the paper and pray through the terms, fear surrenders its megaphone, and a quiet certainty settles. That certainty is not adrenaline. It is alignment. These are the practical markers of clean favor. Transparent terms, no hiding of key definitions, no shape-shifting language around ownership, scope, or time. Willingness to explain. People who carry my favor do not resent clarity. They welcome it, answer plainly, and put answers in writing. Time to decide. Deadlines exist, but they are fair, communicated early, and adjustable for reasonable review. Mutual benefit. The agreement protects both sides, not just the side that drafted it, with exits that do not punish dignity. Written alignment. What they promised with smiles matches what appears on the page. Word for word. Numbers for numbers. If there is a change, they highlight it, not hide it. Hear me. I do not hide blessings behind confusion. I am not the author of chaos. When I open a door, I also give you language to walk through it clean. Wisdom is not unbelief. Wisdom is obedience. Review with patience. Ask your questions without apology. Request revisions without trembling. Put your understandings into a confirming email. As discussed, my responsibilities are X by Y date. Compensation is Z'd. Ownership remains mine unless licensed for A. Renewal is opt-in only. If they honor the clarity, green light brightens. If they bristle at light, you just discovered a leak. Practice this cadence. Read, reflect, rephrase, request. Read the document fully. Reflect in prayer until your inner pace returns to peace. Rephrase in your own words to confirm understanding. Request any edits that align the paper with truth. What I say about you defines who you are. You are thorough, not timid. Discerning, not doubtful. A steward of promise, not a servant of pressure. Let heaven record it. In this season, your standard is peace plus clarity. Type peace plus clarity as your declaration. Speak it over your inbox, your interviews, your negotiations. If examination increases clarity and preserves peace, proceed. If light reveals rot, step back. I am with you in the reading, and I will keep what I give when you keep what I teach. Now hear me clearly. The second green light is alignment without compromise. My doors do not demand that you betray your values to enter. My favor will never invoice you with your health. My opportunities do not force you to amputate your calling for a check, a chair, or a chance. If entry requires compromise, it is not my door because I do not pay you with your soul. Listen to the counterfeits you have heard before. Just this once. Everyone does it. We'll fix it later. God will understand. Those are not accommodations. Those are alibis. They soften the edge of disobedience and rename it strategy. They tell you to round the truth, misstate the numbers, shade your availability, applaud what you cannot endorse, or work through the sacred hours you set aside for rest and worship. Hear me. I am not asking you to bury your conscience to raise your profile. I am not asking you to glamorize what injures you, to market what injures others, or to accept terms that vandalize your peace. Here is the integrity signal. Clean favor stays clean as you walk toward it. You do not have to lie on the application to qualify. You do not have to hide your boundaries to be welcomed. You do not have to pretend you are available 24/7 to be valuable. You do not have to silence truth to keep your place at the table. Alignment looks like this: fair expectations stated plainly, ethical steps that do not cut corners, an honorable pace that honors rest, truthful representation of who you are and what you can do, and zero coercion masquerading as team spirit. Alignment will invite counsel, not forbid it. Alignment will allow edits, not threaten you for requesting them. Alignment will respect your no and still want your yes. Now hear me. Worthiness was never the issue. Readiness is. Readiness refuses shortcuts. Readiness chooses process over performance, growth over gimmicks, and clean timelines over frantic applause. Readiness knows that what you compromise to get, you must keep compromising to keep. Readiness has learned to say, if it costs my integrity, it is too expensive. This is who you are now. Old, you needed approval to feel real. New you requires alignment to remain whole. Old you apologized for needs. New you names them early. Old you bent to be liked. New you stands to be trusted. What I say about you defines who you are. You are chosen, steady, and unstained. Your yes is weighty because your no is holy. Your gifts are not for hire to falsehood. Your energy is not collateral for someone else's chaos. Your rest is not optional, it is covenant. And if someone withdraws an offer because you kept your boundaries, call it correctly. I just made room for what is truly yours. Let heaven record it. You will not enter any door that requires you to leave your soul outside. Type alignment only as your declaration. Say it over meetings, over interviews, over collaborations. Alignment only, and prepare your heart, because where there is true alignment, there must also be faithful maintenance. Even real blessings can be lost if mishandled. Next, I will teach you the stewardship that keeps what I place in your hands. Peace guarded, prayer prioritized, and paper trails preserved, so that what begins in integrity remains in integrity, and what opens by favor is kept by wisdom. Now hear me clearly. Favor requires maintenance. In trials, you survived. In blessings, you steward. This is the law of increase. When blessings multiply, so does responsibility. Survival skills carried you through the fire, but governance skills will keep you from burning the future I am placing in your hands. A blessing you cannot steward becomes a burden you cannot carry. Let heaven record it. I am graduating you from crisis management to covenant management, from make it through the day to govern the next decade. Start with this. Paper is holy in this season because paper remembers what excitement forgets. Paper trails are spiritual and practical shields. Document agreements. Confirm conversations in writing. After the call, send the email. As discussed, deliverables are X by Y date, compensation is ZID, ownership remains mine unless licensed for A, renewal is opt-in. Keep receipts, track commitments, date stamp decisions, store signed copies in a dedicated folder, digital and physical. Name files clearly, set reminders for renewal windows, payment dates, milestones, and review checkpoints. Weekly, audit your agreements and your calendar. If scope changes, require change orders in writing. If someone verbalizes a promise, capture it in a summary email and request confirmation. This is not suspicion. This is stewardship. Writing protects relationships and resources because it holds both sides faithful to what peace approved. Guard your peace with a protocol. Protect your mornings. Begin with prayer, not pings. Protect your sleep. Exhaustion, forfeit clarity. Protect your inner circle. Keep your counselors few and faithful, people who love your destiny more than your drama. Do not let new access become new chaos. Set office hours. Set a Sabbath. Turn off emergency mode unless there is an actual emergency. Your schedule is a sermon. Preach peace with your calendar. If access expands but rest contracts, you are not blessed. You are baited. Slow the room. Honor your body. Keep your spirit hydrated before you pour out. Stay low. Arrogance will close what approval just opened. Humility will keep it open. Be teachable after the yes arrives. Ask better questions. Invite feedback without defense. Stay a student of your craft and a servant of the assignment. Do not let applause outrun accountability. Carry the broom before you touch the trumpet. What I say about you defines who you are. You are trusted because you remain teachable. Now, hear me on money. When good news hits, do not celebrate yourself into a trap. Money is a tool, not a trophy. Do not confuse a limit increase with an income increase. Do not convert a one-time windfall into a permanent lifestyle. Before any large purchase, apply the 24-hour pause. Separate seed, savings, and spend. Set aside taxes first. Build a cushion. Pay what you promised. Track subscriptions. Audit leaks. Generosity remains guided, not guilted. Stewardship is how you say thank you with math. Spiritual maintenance does not retire because promotion arrived. Prayer stays non-negotiable. Gratitude stays daily. Obedience stays immediate. Pray before the meeting, not just after the mistake. Thank me before the deposit, not just after it lands. When I nudge, move. Delay drains momentum. Swift obedience multiplies it. Keep your altar unbroken and your motives clean. Let heaven record it. You will keep what I give because you will keep what I teach. Type clean stewardship as your declaration. And now, as order settles and peace holds, we approach the moment of decision. I will show you how to pause without fear, verify without apology, pray without panic, and then move with authority. How to sign, how to slow, or how to walk away, so the future you prayed for remains protected under my hand. Now hear me clearly. This is the decision protocol, and it is your shield. You are allowed to slow down long enough to protect the future you prayed for. I am not rushing you. I am authorizing you. When you follow this cadence, panic loses its voice. Pressure loses its costume, and clean favor shines in bright light. 1. Pause. Breathe. Step out of the room. Step out of the thread. Set a review time. If they cannot honor your pause, they cannot honor your future. 2. Read every line out loud. Your mouth will catch what your eyes skim past. Your ears will hear the traps your adrenaline ignores. 3. Identify obligations. Who does what, by when, with what resources. Name the weekly rhythm it requires. Time blocks, deliverables, meetings, energy. If it has no budget for your time, it will try to spend your health. 4. Identify exit terms. How do you leave clean? What notice? What penalties? What non-compete? What cure periods if someone fails? Freedom on page 1 is better than freedom begged for on page 90. 5. Verify promises. Match smiles to sentences. If it was said in the meeting, it must appear in the document. Amounts, timelines, support, ownership. 6. Ask for revisions. You are not difficult. You are diligent. Strike what steals peace. Add what preserves clarity. Require mutual accountability. 7. Pray for peace. Lay the paper before me. If peace deepens as you read, proceed. If peace thins when you revisit, wait. I lead by clarity, not by chaos. 8. Seek wise counsel. Legal, financial, spiritual. Voices with no stake in your applause, only in your longevity. In the presence of 2 or 3 faithful witnesses, confusion breaks. These are the questions chosen people ask. What am I agreeing to become? Does this role honor who I am becoming or deform it? What does this require weekly, in hours, attention, and recovery? Who holds power if conflict happens? And what process guards fairness? What am I forfeiting? Time, rights, reputation, creative ownership, rest. And is that price righteous? Where is my Sabbath protected in this pace? What happens if life shifts, illness, grief, assignment changes? Does this contract honor humanity or punish it? Hear me. You are allowed to request changes. You are allowed to say no. You are allowed to negotiate. You are allowed to walk away. Your source is not this offer. Your source is your God. If they threaten you for asking, you just received your answer. If they shame you for boundaries, you just saw their plan for your future. Your no is holy. That is why your yes carries weight. Do not call protection missed opportunity. Walking away from counterfeit favor is not loss, it is positioning. I would rather close a door now than rescue you later from a room on fire. Delay is not denial. Delay is alignment. When you refuse the leash, I reroute you to the door with clean hinges. And these are your signs as you walk this protocol. Messages arriving at exactly the right time with clarity you prayed for. Confirmations repeating from separate sources without coordination. Unexpected provision that covers the gap you feared. Schedules that open without panic. Peace that does not evaporate when you turn on the bright light. These are not coincidences. These are confirmations. When peace remains, move with authority. Sign without trembling. Calendar your checkpoints, renewal dates, and rest blocks. Send the confirming email. Announce your boundaries early. Begin your work in prayer and end your day in gratitude. What I say about you defines who you are. You are chosen, steady, and governed by peace. Let heaven record it. You will decide with clarity, not with craving. Type decision protocol as your declaration. And as we enter the seal of the next 90 days, hear my warning. Do not let excitement mute discernment. We will bless what is clean and bind what is counterfeit, and you will read every line as the ritual that keeps your future whole. Now hear me clearly. I am sealing your next 90 days. They will not look like the last 90. The momentum has shifted. What was delayed begins to move. What was blocked begins to open. What was hidden in shadow comes into full light. But you will not enter blindly. You will enter brilliantly. Eyes open, heart steady, paper in hand. This is blessing with boundaries. This is favor with governance. This is your season of clean favor, blessing without bondage, because you will read every line. I speak a hedge over your announcements. Do not trumpet what is still taking root. Do not overshare the seed and then wonder why the birds arrived. Let results mature in silence and speak at the appointed time. Do not let flattery rush you. Compliments are not confirmations. Applause is not authority. And hear me, when the offer lands, do not abandon prayer like a ladder you used only to climb. Pray more, not less. Bring the document to the altar and wait until peace remains after the third reading. If peace thickens under bright light, proceed. If peace thins when the room gets quiet, pause. These are not coincidences, these are confirmations. Now, as a sign of agreement, not superstition, agreement, activate your discipline. Type 999 to complete the old cycle and close every entry point for counterfeits. Type 888 to seal discernment with abundance. Wisdom first, then wealth that does not wound. Type 111 to stay connected to wisdom and accountability, so you do not walk alone into rooms you prayed to enter. Do it now. Let your fingers preach what your future requires. This is not a ritual of luck. It is a covenant of attention and obedience. Stay close to the covering of community. Subscribe so you do not drift from the cadence of peace. Then scroll to the pinned comment. Listen carefully. The pinned comment for the discernment checklist and inner circle guidance I prepared for those entering contract season. Use it before every signature, every renewal, every quick agreement. It is not marketing, it is protection. Keep your steps inside the light that has been set before you. What I say about you defines who you are. I say you are chosen. I say you are protected. I say you are prepared. I say you are guided. You are not lucky. You are led. You are not desperate. You are directed. You are mine. Let heaven record it. Now go with authority. Read every line. Ask every question. Keep your peace. Confirm in writing. Guard your rest. When peace remains, move. When alarms sound, wait. Watch how real favor confirms itself. Clarity under scrutiny. Alignment without compromise. Provision without panic. Access without bondage. I will walk you through the door I opened, and I will keep what I give when you keep what I taught. Let heaven record it one more time. These next 90 days are sealed. Blessing with boundaries, favor with wisdom, abundance with peace. Because you will read every line, discern every spirit, and receive only what is clean.